A very, very good evening, dear friends, colleagues, and a very warm welcome to our meet and greet number 13 of the Women's Federation for World Peace, with the title, What Women, Youth and Civil Society Can Bring to the Table to Support the UN SDGs for 2030 to ensure no one is left behind. We're very happy and honored that you could all be with us tonight, as we all have very busy schedules. And I would like to open this evening to welcome Mrs. Marcia de Abreu. She is the Secretary General of Women's Federation for World Peace, Europe and Middle East, and also the President of Women's Federation for World Peace, Spain. Marcia, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Oliveira. Thank you very much. It's really an honor and a privilege to be part of this program this evening and to address you all in this important gathering focused on the vital role that women and civil society play in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals and ensuring that no one is left behind, of course. The promise of the SDGs is bold and universal: to end poverty, to protect the planet, and to ensure dignity and opportunity for all. We know very well that progress remains uneven, and too many communities, especially women and marginalized groups, continue to face barriers that limit their full participation in society. This is precisely why today's conversations matter, and we have so many prominent society leaders participating in this meeting. Women are not only beneficiaries of sustainable development, they are powerful agents for change. Across the world, women are leading efforts in their communities, driving innovation, strengthening social cohesion, advocating for justice, educating, and building more inclusive economies. When women are empowered, and we know this very well, entire societies can thrive. At the same time, civil society serves as the connective tissue, as the bridges between global commitments and local realities. It amplifies voices that are too often unheard, holds institutions accountable, and delivers solutions that are grounded in lived experience. Civil society organizations such as ours are often the first to respond in times of crisis and the last to leave, ensuring continuity, trust, and good impact. Together, women and civil society bring something essential to the table: proximity to communities, deep understanding of local needs, and the courage to challenge inequalities in all its forms. In order to unlock this potential, something more than just recognition is necessary. It demands action. It requires inclusion in decision-making spaces, adequate resourcing, and genuine partnerships with governments, the private sector, and international institutions. Before concluding my words, I would like to call your attention to the global yearly themes of the Women's Federation for World Peace International. All WFWP international efforts, actions, activities are integrated and channeled with more precision under the following 4 pillars. Number 1, Women, Peace and Security, under which we promote bridges of peace between individuals, communities, and organizations, strengthening women-led peace building and cross-community dialogue, and reconciliation. Number 2, women's leadership through Global Women's Peace Network, under which we promote collaborative intercultural and interfaith leadership so as to foster mutual understanding with shared action for peace in the global community. Number 3, climate action and environmental sustainability, empowering communities through climate resilience strategies and nature-based solutions. And number 4, global development, aid and service, enhancing social impact through education and community programs that alleviate poverty and safeguard the well-being of women, youth, and children, and all, of course. So all over the world, our organization is working under these 4 pillars of approach. As we carry on with our actions, under whichever approaches we may have, and as we continue with our discussions today, let us ask ourselves, how can we better support women leaders at all levels? How can we strengthen civil society's capacity to drive change and bring peace? And how can we work together to ensure that the SDGs are not just aspirations, but realities for every person everywhere? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marcia de Abreu, for your welcoming remarks. Thank you so much. And then we also want to welcome Dr. Anna Alvazzi del Frate. She is a criminologist with vast experience in international studies on crime, violence, gender, and firearms. She has worked at the UN in a lot of different chapters and is now the executive director of KENNIS, sounds like a Dutch word, Knowledge for Safety and Good Governance, chair of the NGO Committee on Sustainable Development in Vienna, and much more. Dr. Anna, we're very happy that you can be here with us tonight, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and apologies because I have just been sick and I hope I will not be coughing. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's really an honor to represent here the NGO Committee on Sustainable Development Vienna. This is a forum bringing together NGOs that are committed to advancing sustainable development and supporting relevant work of the UN through discussions and initiatives and connecting different environments. This means in Vienna being very close to the work of the different agencies, in particular the Office on Drugs and Crime, but also the International Atomic Energy Agency and the UNIDO, the Industrial Development Organization. The committee itself has been moving along with the changing meaning of sustainable development, embracing fully the 2030 agenda and being now convinced that none of the 17 goals can be achieved in isolation, and none of them can be really fully realized without a gender equitable approach. So our objective is to advance all sustainable development goals in a gender equitable manner. This means working very closely also with other groups of civil society, in particular with the substantive committees in Vienna, the Committee on the Status of Women in particular, but also others, to try to move along with a coordinated way, more effective in these times of shrinking space for civil society. We are fully aware that that decreasing time, decreasing resources for our organizations. But we have to keep our work strong. Our mandate is embedded in the UN Charter, we the people, so we really need to be active and aware of our indispensable role in delivering services, but also monitoring and holding states accountable and aware of important issues. So what we are trying to do is really to make sure that no one is left behind. For no one to be left behind, it means that everyone should be actively involved and meaningfully involved in taking part in designing the solutions that can lead to transformation. So the work that we do means sometimes connecting areas that may not be super obvious. We work in particular closely with the UN Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice Program that is really helping in building strong institutions and preventing crime and moving towards security. As Kofi Annan used to say, there is no security without development and no development without security. So we really hope that our committee can help, and we are open to the participation of all interested NGOs. Thank you very much for this opportunity to address, and good luck with your discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alvazzi del Frate, for being with us and your welcoming remarks and for your support to this meet and greet. So then we also want to welcome Mrs. Kritzel Sikat. She's the third Secretary and Vice Consul of the Philippine Embassy and Permanent Mission to Austria. Yes, Mrs. Sikat, can we find you? Thank you for being here. And please, the floor is yours.
Hi. Thank you, Ms. Oliveira. Good evening, Gruscott. Magandang gabi. On behalf of Ambassador Evangelina Bernas, it is my pleasure to join all of you tonight in this very productive session of meeting movers and doers in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Tonight, as with all other meet and greet sessions, is a great opportunity to learn from each other through sharing and listening from the stories of success and continuous development of our colleagues from different parts of the world. In pursuit of sustainable development, I stand with the other speakers that there's a need to identify where each of us can contribute in balancing the three pillars of development: social and economic development and environmental management. In balancing this, we also acknowledge the role of the governments and the policy institutions that provide a framework for the development and progress in these three pillars of sustainable development. I am particularly excited to hear the stories of a member of the Filipino diaspora joining us tonight. The presence and contributions of Filipinos in community building is always a welcome topic, especially for us in the Philippine Embassy as we advocate for community unity and civic duties to our countrymen here and back in the Philippines, and also to the communities where we belong. I look forward to listening to all the inspiring stories of youth, women, and community development from our speakers tonight. Thank you very much for this opportunity to learn from each other. Vielen Dank. Good evening, guten Abend.
Thank you so much, Permanent Mission of the Philippines, for being here and supporting us as always, that we can work together for the greater good and to fulfill these SDGs. So welcome everybody who joined a little bit later to our meet and greet number 13, what women, youth and civil society can bring to the table to support these SDGs. And I'm very honored to introduce our first panelist of this evening. That is Mrs. Maria Cañellas. I hope I say it correctly. She is an award-winning audiovisual journalist, educator, and peace advocate, also an ambassador for peace. She made a lot of documentaries for television as well. She did a lot of things. We're very pleased to have you here, Mrs. Canellas, and the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. It's wonderful being here with all of you. Thank you very much for this invitation. I've been told that 7 minutes, and I promise I try my best to be just 7 minutes. I'm going to introduce myself with a video. Lily, our expert in this meeting, is going to help me to share the videos. But first of all, I must say that I think I wanted to become a journalist since I was born. I remember a question that grown-ups used to ask to me and to every child. What would you want to be when you grow up? Most of my friends answer, a princess. But my answer was a journalist. Now, our Queen of Spain first was a journalist and then a queen, so you can be both things. It was my dream to become a journalist, and I'm very proud of being a journalist because as a journalist, my voice has given voice to many people, most of them women that needed to be listened. So Lily, if you are ready, please, video number 1. Thank you very much, Lily. I must confess that it hasn't been an easy path, but it has been a very wonderful path. I came to journalism with a sense of responsibility, professionalism, ethic, vocation, and love. And I owe this to the foundations built in me through the education I received at my school and at home. These foundations are humanism, joy, Christianity, lived in freedom, this Christianity, free and critical thinking, work, study, reflection, believing in myself and my abilities. It's a high time for women to claim the place that belongs to them in society. It's a new time, your time, said my school founder, St. Peter Poveda, in 1911. And many years later, I was born in that new time, in a society that needed us women for developing, because I was born in a dictatorship and patriarchal structure. On one hand, my school educated us to become women who would transform the world. On the other hand, my parents believed in women's freedom and that their daughters were just like their sons, and that we girls needed weapons for becoming independent. My teachers and my parents helped me to discover my talents. I was given the responsibility to develop those talents for the benefit of others. I like to say that I belong to what is a bridge generation, a generation that helped to transform Spanish society. Our mothers were housewives, strong, intelligent, capable, but They did not have the opportunities that we had. But they had something extraordinary. Vision. They wanted something more that for their daughters. They wanted us to be free. They wanted us to be independent. They wanted us to be prepared. And we are here. And we became what we became because of them. And we became doctors, lawyers, architects, scientists, teachers, journalists. We entered spaces where women had barely been present before. I belong to the Spanish women generation that lived the transition to democracy, and we transformed Spanish society. Lily, please, video number 2.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah.
As I told you, in my work as a journalist, I have always felt the need to give a voice to those who are not heard, and most of them, women. I have filmed more than 200 stories for Spanish television, and in each one, I've looked for woman's voice. You can imagine how many brave women, real heroines I have met, real fighters. And we are in a hurry, so please, Lily, video number 3.
We are fighters, dreamers, and creators. And as long as our voices come together, no darkness can erase us. Thank you.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All I want is to be free.
They are wonderful, real. They are wonderful. Now I'm retired, but I think that I continue to have a purpose in a world full of uncertainty. I can bring meaning, light, and humanity, because that is what I was taught, to be a light and not to hide it. I think that it's still my time. it's still your time, our time, the women's time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Maria Canayas. It was a very beautiful presentation, a very visual and amazing work that you've been doing and still doing. So, and I can really feel your passion for your work, and it really makes me more excited to connect with you. And maybe you can leave your information in the chat for people if they want to
Yes, of course.
connect with you, because this is the purpose of our meet and greet, that we can connect and see how we can work even more together to bring about a little bit more safety and peace in this world. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you so much for you.
Thank you.
It's lovely to share with you.
Yes, thank you so much.
With all of you.
Thank you. So, our next speaker of this evening is Mr. Rogers Kasirye. He is an experienced NGO leader and expert consultant on youth in sub-Saharan Africa, with extensive work in research, program implementation, and policy advocacy, addressing key health and social risks affecting vulnerable youth. And he is the director of Uganda Youth Development Link and a good friend of our UN Vienna team. So, Mr. Rogers, we're very happy that you are here this evening, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, okay. Help do the PowerPoint. I'm so happy and honored. I'm happy that I'm able to share with you, and excited that the World Forum for Peace can invite us to share. The work we do here in Uganda is basically benefits a lot of women, because 70% of our clients are women. But I'm sharing an experience in a low-resource country, and are there activities we can do which can affect the Sustainable Development Goals? Yes. And from what we've been there for some time, over 30 years. Next slide. We've been there for the 30 years, working to improve the lives of young people. Because I come in a country where majority of the people now in Uganda, 73% are young people below 30 years. In other words, we have a young generation full of young people who are depending on a few adults. But also, we are seeing a lot of rapid urbanization. There are a lot of movements from the rural area to urban areas, and also a country which is the population which is facing poverty is 23. There's a lot of unemployment, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs, and a lot of violence and gender-based violence. So the work we do is around, first of all, the first 6 Sustainable Development Goals, which are about well-being, which is about health, which is about the general well-being of our people. And that's why we are looking a lot at the first, but also we spill over to the other, Sustainable Development Goal about decency, about protection and all that, human rights. Next, please. So, like I said, most of our people now, Uganda has been known as a country with high alcohol consumption. In Africa, actually, we are number 1. These things, many times they go together with the poverty, where people really think that if they have stress, if they have what they should take to alcohol, they take to drugs. But what do we see? We see a lot of violence, gender-based violence. We see a lot of exploitation. Our country is facing a crisis of teenage pregnancy and early motherhood. We have a lot of young people who are below 18 years who have got pregnant, and these are some of the challenges. But also we are seeing a lot of people who have moved to the what? Who have moved to the streets. So who have moved and street-connected children, and the vulnerabilities are interlinked. And these speak a lot to the first Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 1 up to number 6. Even after that, you begin to see a lot of what? A lot of problems. Next, please. For example, of recently, we've been reaching out to young people about messages on health, on sexual reproductive health. We've been reaching out to young people how to keep safe from drugs, how to keep safe from the high risk behavior. We've been reaching out to young people. But what is perturbing us is that for example, we've been supported to reach out to young people who have got pregnant and who have begun early motherhood. And one of the activity we do is to go and search for them, because many of our young people don't go to official maternity hospital to deliver. So we have to go to the slums, we have to go to the informal settlement, to the ghettos, look out for those young people, work with them, take them to hospitals so that they begin to attend antenatal care and begin to do safe deliveries. That's why you can see here, we do a lot of maternal and newborn health to inform the young people who have got pregnant. We talk to girls and education and give them the life skills. We do a lot of economic empowerment, but also we do a lot of community engagement with the local leaders. We do a lot of engagement with the service providers, the health facilities. Because the intention, the young people fear to go there because of stigma. They'll be judged, they don't have the money, they don't have the best kits which they need to deliver. And all these are contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals. Next, please. But also we do a lot of livelihood and vocational skills in order to empower them. Because if we agree that poverty leads to so many problems, poverty will lead to violence, poverty will lead to domestic violence, poverty will lead to increased youth drug abuse and vulnerability. So one of the things we do to help women and young people in our facilities is to help so that we help to increase productivity and also help to use experience and all help them to do what? To learn skills, which skills can help them to be what? To be able to cope, to be able to develop resilience, to be able to manage the stress, because some of them have been trafficked, some of them have been moved from their villages to the cities, and nobody is caring. Social care in our country and social services don't receive a lot of attention. Actually, a lot of focus is more in schools and health. But even then, because of low income of our communities and our young people, which they go through, this is what they experience. Next, please. Yeah, I've already told you that because of poverty levels, because of the social norms which encourage use of alcohol and consumption, all these problems are there, and these fall within the SDGs number 3, number 5, and number 16. And you have to do there's a lot of high marketing exposure for alcohol, but this drives gender-based violence. This drives road crashes. This drives youth crime, youth narcotics and violence. And where there is poverty, a lot of problems intersect, and you have to do a lot of things. So you cannot only concentrate on talking about drug, talking about violence, but again, you have to help young people develop livelihood skills. You have to help women develop skills so that they're able to deal with poverty, which leads to so many leads to so many problems. Next, please. This is what, so how do we do it? What we've done in the city, we've opened up 5 drop-in centers, what we call safe spaces, where we do a lot of rehabilitation, where we give a lot of psychosocial support, where our social workers talk to the young people, do case management, try to understand what are the problems. Sometimes we try to follow up the problems, and you find certain problems are more prominent and occurring, and then we have to teach safe livelihood skills and impart safe livelihood, but also provide sexually productive health knowledge and information, which information can be very helpful for the young people in order to help them to cope. But also we do a lot of youth-led monitoring and advocacy for governments, for local government, for city municipalities, so that these city municipalities can do what? Can help the young people. We also do a lot of community prevention about crime, about trafficking, about sex exploitation, about not HIV and early teenage mothers and teenage motherhood and all those. And all those help to empower young people. And once young people have been empowered, the young people are able to cope. The young people also become peer mentors, become mentors for others, and begin to change others and begin to transform their lives, but also they begin to help the children around them. They begin to help the families which are close to them. Next, please. So our call to action is that we need to invest in women. Once a woman is empowered, once young people are empowered, they can transform and change their society. But also, like what you are sharing, I think what we are saying is that there are some good interventions, there are some good models, there are some interventions which are working, and these are contributing to the SDGs. Can we learn from them? Can we cope with them? Can we document them? Can we share so that even others can do more and help young people? We need also to influence and strengthen policies. Policies, especially in low-developing countries, are weak, are skewed. There's a lot less intervention in social care, social services. We need to do more. But also we need to do integration because the problems intersect. Alcohol, drug abuse, violence, crime, exploitation, trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking, and all these abuses and poverty. You cannot do a single particular vertical program. You need to integrate with health, we need to integrate with livelihood, but also we need to integrate with what protect. And lastly, the key message is that we don't need to leave nobody to be left behind. Nobody should be left behind. And also, we are saying we need to devise there are local solutions which can help us. And we need to empower young people. And with this, we get strong NGOs. By the way, in Uganda and in Africa, most activities around social care, about helping families which are in distress, families in urban informal settlements, which are suffering, are largely done by what? Are largely done by CSOs. So we need to have stronger CSOs so that they can contribute. Thank you so much for inviting me. And this is what I can say. My presentation should be shared. You can see some of the photos here. Let's leave no one behind. Can you move to the next slide also? Next slide. These are some of the work we do. Next slide. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me, my good friends whom we always meet, Miss Olivia and others. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers, for your amazing presentation. Although we cannot see you, we could follow very well your work. And yes, so I could see your website, but if you would also like to share your further contact details in the chat, if people want to reach out to you, it would be nice for them to connect with you. So thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. And we know that not everywhere the time changes. So thank you for being with us. So our next panelist for this evening is Mrs. Charlene May Bornea. She's a certified public accountant and social impact leader based in New York and also a Global Women Peace Ambassador. Mrs. Charlene, the floor is yours and a very warm welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone from United Nations headquarters. I would like to begin by sincerely thanking Ms. Merle for the kind invitation to join this online meet and greet. It is truly an honor to be here with such inspiring speakers and panelists, and to be part of a conversation centered on how we can work together to advance the Sustainable Development Goals and ensure no one is left behind. I also bring you warm greetings, as what I've said, from the United Nations headquarters, as I am currently participating in the ECOSOC Youth Forum, where young leaders from around the world are coming together to share ideas, solutions, and commitments toward achieving the SDGs by 2030. My name is Charlene May Bornea, and I serve as the president of JCI North Jersey. For me, this conversation is not only professional, but deeply personal. As an immigrant, I carry with me a lived experience of both opportunity and uncertainty. I know what it means to navigate unfamiliar systems, to build from the ground up, and to hold on to hope while working toward a better future. That experience shaped how I see leadership, service, and inclusion. It has taught me that when we talk about sustainable development, we are not just talking about policies or global targets. We are talking about people, about dignity, access, and the opportunity to thrive. My journey began in public accounting, where I worked in financial audits and advisory across Asia-Pacific region. Over time, that experience gave me a deeper understanding of the people and impact behind every decision. It led me into spaces of advocacy, community engagement, and leadership development, where I saw more clearly that lasting progress happens when people are not only supported but empowered. This is also reflected in my legacy project, the Sustainable Village Incubator, an initiative focused on empowering women in underserved communities through financial literacy, bookkeeping, and small enterprise development. The goal is simple but intentional: to equip women with practical skills that strengthen livelihoods, build economic confidence and agency, and create sustainable pathways out of poverty. Through this work, I have seen how access to knowledge and opportunity can transform not only individuals but entire communities. That is why I believe women, youth, and civil society have a critical role to play in achieving SDGs. Women bring leadership shaped by resilience, empathy, and lived experience. When women are empowered with access to education, resources, and leadership opportunities, that impact extends far beyond the individual. It strengthens entire communities. Youth bring energy, innovation, and the courage to reimagine what is possible. Through my advocacy work across different organizations, I have seen how young people can turn ideas into action when given the opportunity. We are not just future leaders, we are leaders today. Civil society brings connection, accountability, and action. It brings the gap between communities and institutions, ensuring that development of efforts are grounded in real needs. From my experience, I have seen how powerful it is when these three sectors work together. When women lead, when youth are empowered, and when civil society creates space for engagement, we begin to see real and lasting change. If we are serious about ensuring that no one is left behind, inclusion must go beyond words. It must be reflected in how we create opportunities, how we listen, and how we lead. The conversations happening at the United Nations today remind us that while the challenges we are facing are global, the solutions should begin locally through people, partnerships, and purpose. As president of JCI North Jersey, I believe our role is to continue building leaders who are not only capable, but compassionate. Leaders who understand that progress must be shared and that meaningful change happens when we bring people in, not leave them out. So as we move closer to 2030, let us continue to empower women, invest in youth, and strengthen civil society. Let us also work together to build communities where everyone has the opportunity to rise. Because in the end, ensuring that no one is left behind is not just a goal for 2030. It is a responsibility we carry every day in how we lead, in how we serve, and how we uplift one another. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Charlene, and also for making the time during the Youth Forum. I hope you can share a little bit later with us as well any other things that might have come up over there. Thank you for representing and for being with us despite your busy schedule. Thank you so much. And yes, let us build an environment where all can rise to their greatest potential. So our next speaker of this evening is Mrs. Myra Colis. She is the founding chairperson of Mabikas Foundation. She is a migrant professional whose work spans media, communications, education, law, and entrepreneurship. And with a background in mass communication from the Philippines and law degrees from the Netherlands, she advocates for women's rights and indigenous people's rights. And she also recently introduced Inayan Ethics and Governance, a pioneering initiative that integrates indigenous perspectives into the development, use, and governance of artificial intelligence. There's so much more to say about Mrs. Myra Colis, but yes, we want to hear from you. So thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Miss Oliveira, and good evening to everyone, and I think good afternoon to some parts of the world. And it's good to be back again. I think I cannot count how, which time is this for my meet and greet, but it's nice to be back again. Thank you for the invitation. And yeah, what can I say? As you have said, Miss Oliveira, yes, in short, I'm an indigenous person, particularly an Igorot Cordilleran from northern Philippines, but I'm currently based now in the Netherlands. And the work that I do is basically capitalizing on the background I have, also the lived experience I have as an indigenous person, as well as a migrant here in Europe, and also being a migrant who was able to also experience studying in the Western society. So from that, I studied law, and now I'm actively advocating for the integration of indigenous principles and the way we live in the modern world, as well as in the way we create solutions, and as well as in the way we live our values. So yeah, thank you for posting that intro. So yes, so that's in a nutshell. I'm an indigenous person advocating or integrating indigenous perspective in today's modern world. So as I've said that, and I look at the theme of tonight, and the recent meetup is all about how women, youth, and civil society can bring can support the UN SDGs for 2030. And that reminds me a lot of a recent event, because last week we were able to release a documentary that we've worked a lot last year, and that's all about the indigenous perspectives in just transition. So when it comes to the SDG goals, I think that's more related to the climate action and how we go towards a sustainable future. So in that documentary, we highlight, of course, indigenous speakers who talk about the indigenous principles, which include, things that the principle of reciprocity, the principle of relationality, not only with the fellow human beings, but also with nature and our relations with our land, our connection with the next generation and the previous generation, and even the generations that are not yet born. So in that documentary, we highlight these principles and how they are important when we talk about solutions, when we talk about sustainable goals, and when we talk about our connection with the land, and so on and so forth, that are mentioned in the UN SDG 2030. And also to add to that is the more than human approach, because I think we are very anthropocentric in nature, which means to say that we only care about human interests, but we forgot to care about, what about the interests of nature, the interests of the land, or the interests of the community? In the Western world, we are more into the interest of individuals. And in this theme of women, youth, and civil society, supporting the UN SDGs, and in that documentary, we highlight these indigenous principles. And one of the most important questions that was raised after the documentary last week was this question that someone said and commented something that, it's a very beautiful documentary, but I see that most of the principles that you have presented in this documentary are already reflected in the SDGs for 2030. While that is very true, and I totally agree, and I said yes, it is there, it is reflected there, but it doesn't mean that it's taking place already. It doesn't mean that they happen already. They are written in goals, but the problem is that the problem that we face now in integrating our indigenous perspective and worldviews when we look at solutions nowadays is the fact that we live in a systems that don't actually include them, or they don't actually interpret them in the way we interpret them. In that, I would say that while they are reflected in the SDGs, reciprocity, interconnectedness, relationality, the values about caring for the earth, intergenerational responsibility, while they actually are reflected in the SDGs, they are so different in the lived reality, right? Looking at the SDGs itself, we are eyeing for 2030, but now is 2026, right? So we have like 4 years to go to achieve those goals. So if we don't want people to be left behind, then we have to fast track our efforts, because when you look at the 17 goals, there's also one that says no poverty. So no poverty by 2030, or it also says zero hunger, right, by 2030. But nevertheless, though, we can see that, yeah, maybe it's quite impossible, because even when the women's right to vote takes like how many? 70 to 80 years struggle, multi-generational struggle to achieve that. We could think also that maybe 4 years is not enough to achieve the 2030 SDG goals. But what we are trying to emphasize now is at least each individual, women, youth, as civil society, we are trying our best to do what we can. And in the line of work that I do, it's always in the intersection of indigenous worldviews, how we integrate our indigenous perspective. It's also about systems thinking. So we kind of question like, of course, for me, we kind of question like whose knowledge is being included, it's also a question of whose knowledge counts, right, in the system that we live now. When we think about who is included, who is not, who sits on the table, whose values are prioritized, and rarely those values, those principles from marginalized groups are often sidelined, right, if not forgotten, or even now they are being erased from historical books, just like the experience of indigenous people like me. Also the question of like, what histories are we not addressing, or what histories are we trying to eliminate? So in short, what I'm trying to say is that the challenges lies not in the absence of these ideas in the policy language. So in the SDG goals, of course, they are reflected, the principles we wanted as indigenous people, but it's always the problem about the systems through which these policies are actually interpreted, implemented, and measured. And like what I've said, the current SDG goals also are very growth oriented. So it's also a question of like what sort of growth. And we talk about economic growth, of course, but as you can see, and as we have realized also from the indigenous perspective, we always think of growth as not that much of, economic growth, yes, but there should always be a balance. If you have to balance well-being and economic growth and development, that would be great. But what happens now, even in activities like mining activities back home, it's always the economic growth that is prioritized over the well-being of the people. Wherein in mining areas, we are often displaced, and you're in development projects, it's always the marginalized group, indigenous groups that are displaced from their lands, and they are taken away, their livelihoods are taken away, and that sort of things. And why am I saying this is because, like what I've said in response to that comment, that they are already in the SDG goals. Yeah, they are there, but it doesn't mean something is happening. The reality is different, right? So as we move forward, and my work, by the way, is multiple work, so I am involved in different projects. So when we talk about integration of indigenous perspectives, I'm not only working as speaker here and there, but I'm also doing some sort of consultancy and advisory in some organizations. One of them, for example, is the eco-justice that has something to do with the criminalization of ecocide. And recently also I've paired with two other co-creators to start with the Universal Preamble Project. And that is more about, how do you integrate these indigenous perspectives and principles in law? Because of course my background is law as well. So like we think of like when you talk about preamble, this is the foundational principles in every law and treaty, right? And policy. It could also be applied in companies and organizations. But the idea is to come up with these 7 indigenous principles that we could integrate when we are making laws and policies. So that was one project. Other project got something to do with transformative practices, particularly, for example, in the academe, where you have always this 1.5 hour of lecture time, right? But how do you make use of the 1.5 hour lecture time in order for you to be able to make it interactive, but also for students to think of the social impact of what they're doing? One particular course is something to do with engineering. When they design engineering projects, then how do they integrate these perspectives, or how do they look at the social impact of the design or the work that they are doing? So apart from that, of course, is the Mabikas. Mabikas Foundation is the community of Igorot Cordillerans that are based in the Netherlands, but we also aim to connect with fellow Cordillerans in Europe in general. So oh, and the most recent one is, of course, with this, going through the grassroots, where we deal also with, like, for example, you know, in our community in the Philippines, weaving is a common livelihood of the Igorot indigenous people there. And one problem there is the scarcity of the resource material that they are using. So that becomes like a problem. Apart from that, like issues like, you know, shortages of water, that is also like a common community problems. And there we try to dig there by also tapping on the researchers here in the Netherlands. So we kind of partner also with professors at universities that deal with the program called Regenerative Entrepreneurship in the Global South. So in short, yeah, those are the projects that we are working on as Myra, and also with the foundation Mabikas, and also with the consultancy and the Inayan project I've started. And I hope to get connected with most of you. And with the film screening, we hope to also get a chance to show it and open a platform for discussions wherever you are. And I think that's also the time where we continue this discourse on, how do you really integrate indigenous perspectives in our target to achieve the UN SDG goals, right? So that's it for now, and thank you so much for your time, and look forward to more conversations with you. Back to you, Ms. Oliveira.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Colis, and thank you for all the amazing work that you're doing. So very, very important and also very interesting, I have to say. In the chat, I can see that there is interest in the documentary that you've mentioned. So I don't know if you maybe can post a link or some information where people can find this information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I will.
Yes, thank you. So, yes, a very beautiful set of presentations. We go to the next one. I would like to welcome Dr. Deidre Anderson. She is a global leadership strategist, executive coach, and founder of Women Empowered International, an organization dedicated to equipping women and girls across the United States and Africa to become leaders and change agents in their communities. She is also very busy, but I will leave it up to this introduction. Dr. Anderson, thank you so much, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. This is so amazing. Thank you for having me here. It is 3:00 in the afternoon in Philadelphia, where I am in the United States, and I know that it's different times for everyone. I've been engaged with every single presentation. Now, I am a speaker, and I was given 7 minutes, so I'm going to put 7 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to try my very best to honor those 7 minutes. Now, shall I bring my PowerPoint up, or is someone else going to do that? Because I can do it myself. I wasn't sure how this goes.
I can do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, because sometimes it does slow me down here. So Thank you very much, everyone. It is an honor to speak with you on today about the beautiful work that is happening through an organization that I'm honored to lead called Women Empowered. I serve as the executive director, as I said there. And while we serve both women and girls, our current focus is on girls and young adult women, because these are the next generation of leaders. So we are strengthening the pipeline of leaders. And I want to begin with one simple question for you to consider. What happens when we truly invest in girls and young women? I'd like to show you. So if we could have the next slide, please. Our headquarters is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That is a major urban city in the United States where opportunity and inequality exist side by side, much like many other metropolitan areas. But I want to be clear, this is not just a story about Philadelphia. Philadelphia represents what many urban communities around the world are facing. And what is that? Poverty, violence, trauma, exposure to human trafficking, and mental health challenges that often go unseen. And while the context may look different across different countries, the underlying realities are often the same. According to UNICEF, nearly 1 in 4 adolescent girls globally experience violence. So the question isn't whether it's happening, it's how will we respond? Next slide, please. I want to take a moment to say this young woman's name. Her name is Imani Ringgold. She's a young woman from Philadelphia, the same city where I live and where I work with girls every single day. She wasn't just a headline. She wasn't just an image. Imani had a family, people who loved her, and a life that was still unfolding. Just last week here in Philadelphia, as Imani was coming out of a store after a day of work, 3 days earlier, she had gotten her college acceptance letter. Imani was gunned down and killed. She was on the phone with her grandmother, and her grandmother heard the entire thing unfold. It was a moment of mistaken identity. The young people who gunned her down didn't even mean to take her life. They thought she was someone else. Yet her life was taken. Imani was a human being, a young woman full of promise. So I want to ask you to consider this. How many lives full of potential are we losing before they ever get the chance to lead? For many of the young women that I serve, this article that you see clipped here on the PowerPoint, that's not a distant reality. This is a threat that they live with every single day. It's a part of the environment that they navigate every single morning when they wake up. Next slide, please. So the question becomes, what do we do before what happened to Imani happens? That is where the work of Women Empowered begins. We work in prevention, we work in protection, and we work in redirection. I'm sad to say that not only are more young women like Imani becoming statistics here in Philadelphia and in many metropolitan cities around the world, they are also becoming perpetrators of some of these crimes. So not only do you want to prevent what happened to Imani from happening, we want to prevent someone else from picking up that gun and becoming a perpetrator. So what do? We meet young women where they live. We go into the neighborhoods where these young women live. Not because we see them as problems to fix, but because we know that so many of them are leaders to develop. And we aren't just addressing symptoms, we're interrupting patterns. So what you see here is me actually yesterday in a neighborhood not too far from where Imani was shot down and killed, talking to other young ladies, taking a few minutes to see how they were feeling, how they were doing, how they were processing, and to also hear their voices. Next slide, please. So here's what we learned. We've learned that prevention alone is not enough because many of these young women are already carrying things they've never had the space to process. Trauma that some of us cannot even imagine. And when we create that space, this is what we hear. This is a real letter that I have up here. I don't have time to read it all to you, but I put a quote on the screen from one of the young women who wrote a letter yesterday. I asked them to write a letter and express their feelings. And she said, "It seems like life's got the best of me. I can't seem to heal fully." So many of our young women are in these places and they just need a safe space. If you look at the photo on the screen, what that actually is a retreat center that we take the young women to, and we teach them things like deep breathing. We teach them how to make candles. They're laying on the floor. We're teaching them just how to be present and how to feel the pain and the trauma in their bodies. And so they write letters like this. They write lyrics that are similar to them. Let me move forward because that was actually my timer. Next slide, please, so that I can hurry and finish. So I want to move forward a little bit, and I want to talk about this. What happens when we create spaces where these young women are not judged, but they're supported as they begin to heal? As that healing begins, what becomes possible? Well, this is what becomes possible. The same young women who are working through their own challenges begin to show up for others, raising resources, supporting communities, leading. What you see here is I brought a group of young women from the States. They met with their peers. Some of them were from the Maasai tribe in Kenya. And when we got there, we came to do a retreat and we were talking, and the young women learned that there was a severe drought at that time, that the young women who had come, some of them from the Maasai tribe, they were dealing with a serious drought. And I loved it because these young women, not me, not any of the adults in the room, these young women said, what can we do to help? And so they decided they were going to do a campaign. We were only there for 4 days. These young women in 3 days raised $6,000 US. And what they did was they raised the money, they went and they started purchasing food together, and they bought enough food to sustain several families for weeks. So this is what we're talking about. This is what happens when you have young people who are engaged and young people who have an opportunity to help others to heal. Can I just show my last slide? I promise it'll be quick. So this is the last thing I wanted to say to you. One of the reasons I love being in environments like this is that this is what it could look like if we take lessons learned. I think it was Rogers that I heard talking about this. So many of these programs are working so well, but then we work in isolation. And I tell you, what's happening in Philadelphia is not so different sometimes than what's happening in Uganda. Can we start to share our learning, create meaningful connections so that we can create collective impact? And I'll just end where I started. What happens when you really invest in girls and young women? That's what I'd like you to consider.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson, for your very spirited and very informative presentation and also for all the great work you're doing there in Philadelphia. It's really amazing. Thank you so much. And I hope we will still have some time for questions and answers later. Thank you so much. So we continue. We're almost coming to an end of the presentations of our speakers. And our next panelist is Dr. Shima Naderi. She's an attorney at law, has a PhD in environmental law from the University of Tehran, and is focused on sustainable development. This is a very brief introduction. My apologies. She has so much more to say. And Mrs. Naderi, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. First, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about the situation of sustainable development in my country, Iran. As you know, sustainable development is based on three main pillars: the economy, society, and the environment. And when these three are in balance, a country can grow in a stable and long-term way. But when this balance is lost, development doesn't lead to real progress. It weakens the future instead. Over the past 50 years in Iran, this balance has gradually been lost. This has happened because of short-term decisions, weak long-term planning, and not enough attention to environmental limits. In many cases, development has moved forward without considering the country's natural capacity. In the economic field, the focus has often been on quick results rather than stability. In the social field, not everyone has had equal opportunity to participate, but the most serious damage has been to the environment. Natural resources have been used more than they can recover. Water resources are under heavy pressure, and many ecosystems have been seriously damaged. This shows that responsibility toward the environment and future generations has not been fully respected. A clear example is Lake Urumie. It was once one of the largest salt lakes in the world, but in recent years it almost dried up. Last year, the situation was very critical and many people lost hope for its recovery. However, in the past 2 weeks, the water level has reached its highest point in the last 4 years. Still, this doesn't mean full recovery and may only be temporary. At the same time, the Hyrcanian forest, about 40 million years old, 40 million years old, have been damaged by repeated wild fires. These forests are very valuable, not only for Iran, but for the whole world. In recent months, environmental damage has increased because of conflict and military strikes. These have added to the previous problems and made them worse. When there are chances to reduce tensions but they are not taken, the damage continues and becomes deeper. Overall, what we see today is the result of losing balance between the three pillars of sustainable development. And development without attention to society and the environment cannot last. If this situation continues, much of the environment may be lost, and future generations will have very little left. So now, the goal is not only to protect what remains, but also to rebuild. Fortunately, both inside Iran and among Iranians abroad, there are many skilled experts with the knowledge and capacity to help improve this situation, creating the conditions for utilizing this potential can be the starting point of the meaningful transformation. Finally, sustainable development is not only a domestic issue, but part of humanity's shared heritage, common heritage of mankind. And natural resources and ecological balance don't recognize borders. And their protection is a shared global responsibility. Therefore, crises such as this situation that I mentioned, Lake of Urumia, are not merely national issues, but global challenges that require international cooperation and collective effort, because damage to these resources ultimately affects us all. Without such a shared perspective, no sustainable development plan can be fully achieved. There's a lot to say, but I try to keep it brief due to the limited time. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naderi. You were great in time. My clock just went off.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all of your great work. And yes, there's so much to share, like you said. And yes, I feel maybe we should do a follow-up of this great panel because there's so much to share and discuss. But we're running out of time. So we're going to our last speaker of this evening, but not the least, Mr. Laurenc Klas. He is the representative of the International Association for Youth Students for Peace, Europe and Middle East. And he's encouraging the youth to become actors of change. So Laurent, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. And the floor is yours.
Yes, so thank you for the introduction and also for inviting me here to this meet and greet. I really like the title, meet and greet. Yeah, so good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. It's my pleasure to introduce a bit about the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, short IAYSP, in the Europe and Middle East. And yeah, also like which also its activities that are connected to the SDGs, right? That's the topic today. Just like in the beginning, a short general introduction. So this organization, IAYSP, was founded in 2017 by Dr. Hak Jae-han from South Korea. And yeah, she and her husband, they've been like living their whole lives for peace. She's by now like over 80, but still living to advance peace, and especially also with a big focus on young people, so that really young people fulfill their potential and don't waste their youth by going destructive lifestyles or anything like that. And yeah, so then also in Europe and Middle East, there are chapters all across. And one special milestone for IAYSP was the receiving the special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. And yeah, so one important thing, the IAYSP vision and mission statement. So it reads like this: the vision is every young person on this planet experience that their contribution matters for peace. And this is especially, I think, important, what we want to bring. And also I want to really share that really every young person feels that they can do something, because it's a common sentiment, you know, that to feel like, oh, you know, I'm too small to do anything, I have no impact, and there is nothing I can do. But that's not true. We want to really show and encourage, motivate that, yes, you can do something. And no matter where you are, who you are, you can do something. There is never a I'm too small to do anything. Just going quickly about something like what IAYSP is doing, it's quite broad in its approach. So you can read about having like education, peace education, learning, then leadership development, capacity building, but also many like events. We like to do intercultural, interreligious, international events, and yes, then also like activities like local community activities, local community projects, and so on. So broad and yeah, a strong focus is on it being done by local chapters, so from all across Europe, many different countries, and they function quite independently by developing like their own projects and yeah, taking action right at the ground, at the place. Yeah, something important to mention is that IAYSP also managed to have like two Erasmus Plus projects, which were then co-founded by the European Union. So one was Innovate Peace, which was running for 15 months and was like cooperation between several organizations like IAYSP, then also the University of Tehran in North Macedonia and the organization CARP in Romania. And they were mainly focusing on doing like a peace designer, like the first teaching people to be peace designer trainers, and then later doing these projects in the different countries. And I will mention the peace designer in a moment. And then another was the Youth Democracy and Digital Advocacy Program, which was like a 5-day youth exchange taking place in Vienna with youth from 5 different countries. So especially concerning the SDGs, this is the flagship program of IAYSP, the Peace Designer Training. And you have actually, in the previous meet and greet, my colleague and president of IAYSP Europe and Middle East, Meli, was talking a bit more also about this Peace Designer Training. So then she also brought some perspective on it, and then I tried to maybe add something as well. So this one is really like a guided program for young people where they themselves can create their own, we call it peace projects, but basically their own projects that are aligned with the SDGs and that they can create a local impact. So through this, they can, first of all, get to know the SDGs, what they are, what different types of SDGs there are, but then also further they get practical tools to go through this whole process of starting to, yeah, just making root cause analysis like of problems that they see, so they don't tackle it just on the surface, but actually go deeper into understanding what is the real root cause. And then through the whole process of developing an idea into a real project, all the practical skills to make a project happen. So this is all part of the peace designer trainings. And yeah, it's not, I would say it's not only just doing something, but also the idea is also that it has like also an internal impact, like on the person themselves. One important, because call it peace designer, is also the perspective that we are bringing on peace, which is not just a simple like there is no conflicts or something, but there are actually many different layers of peace. So maybe one obvious one is like when we see between countries or between people, but that's actually just one aspect. So peace with the environment, like right with nature around me, living in harmony, that's also a part of peace, but especially also peace within myself as an individual, so that I'm not like in a conflict within myself, because otherwise, how do we want to really have a peaceful world if we ourselves are at war with each other or like within ourselves? And to advance also the peace within myself, the important pillar of the IAYSP are these RISE values. Responsibility, so really as a person to really feel like, okay, I'm really responsible to taking action and I'm not caring about what's happening. Integrity, of being like really becoming a reliable person with words and actions in unity. Service, of really living a life that's focused on really being there for others. And empathy, of really feeling and really caring what's happening around me, what's happening to other people, what's happening to my environment. So yeah, here you can see also some pictures, and yeah, this is really one way also where we encourage young people that they can take action themselves, that they can really do something, and also yeah, advance even like the local neighborhood is the part of the world. So if they make an impact in the local neighborhood to advance the SDGs there, then they are advancing the SDGs also in the whole world. Yeah, and also actually, as this is like mainly event of Women's Federation, just recently we had this Youth Changemakers Forum at the United Nations in Vienna, where we collaborated with Women's Federation, and also Peace Designer was a very small, like a taste of how it looks like could happen there. So yeah, so that would be it for my presentation about IAYSP, International Association Youth and Students for Peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Laurenc, for this beautiful presentation and all the great work you're doing at YSP, the Youth and Students for Peace. Thank you so much. And yes, we had a great panelist or panel, sorry, this evening. And I'm really delighted to could have witnessed and experienced all the amazing presentations. Unfortunately, there's not really time for questions and answers. So again, make sure your contacts are in the chat so you can connect with each other. I can see that a lot of people are already connecting. So that's amazing, as that is our aim for these meet and greets. So without further ado, we are just, I would first of all like to acknowledge the presence of our UN Vienna director, Mrs. Mayaril. Thank you for still coming this evening, although you had another schedule, but thank you so much that you can support our meet and greet. And also, I am going to introduce my colleague, and after that we will have a photo. So if everybody who is able to can already open their cameras, that would be amazing. And especially, of course, our panelists of this evening. And without further ado, I would like to give the word to my dear colleague, Renate Amersbauer. She is the president of Women's Federation Austria, and also our very active colleague within the UN team Vienna. So, and she's gonna explain what she's going to do. So, Mrs. Amersbauer, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Kumi, and it's always a pleasure to be together with you and have the very amazing presentations and as an MC. I really want to say thank you for all those who are here today. It is a manifold on talents, on activities, involvement, and really, I think the highest priority to be involved in society and to bring a difference to society wherever you are. And we got to know you in different places. Some of you we got to know through work at the UN, to be there at every commission. And I must say, especially Dr. Anna Alvazzi, she is a person that really helped us in our beginning time. Whenever we didn't know how to do, what to do, then we asked Anna, and she always had a good idea and advice. Thank you so much for that. And I really also want to emphasize that you stay connected, because I think many of you have something that the others can help. Besides, it is so inspiring to listen to every one of you and meet at some other point or make connections with each other. And the other thing is that we really want to feel like a network. So we want to really include every one of you to be a network and know we are there. This is so nice to know that we exist in the other places. Actually, we are from all continents. Yeah, even Australia is here, because Lily is from Australia, but we are from Africa. We are from the Oceanian region. We are from Europe, Middle East. And did I forget something? No, I think USA also, yes. So we're really all around the world. Can you imagine that? Yeah. So for some of you are sitting in the sunshine, we are sitting in the dark. We all have the lights on in the room. So isn't this an incredible and really incredible network? We want to keep holding hands with each other, and to make this a little bit more visible, we have this exciting thing of peace ambassador. So now I have to get them all here. So some of you are already Global Women Peace Ambassadors, but some of you are not. So today we want to take the chance to really invite you to be a part of this network actually we are also a Global Women Peace Network. So to be a Global Women Peace Ambassador, you are part of this network. So I have Miss Myra Colis. Miss Myra Colis, we have listened to you a few times and always it's inspiring. And you're mentioning working on such important points in your country and back home to your home country, your country of origin. So we want to acknowledge as a Global Women Peace Ambassador, first, Ms. Myra Colis, Women's Federation for World Peace International, on behalf of its co-founder, Dr. San Mamoon and Dr. Haq Jahan, is proud to recognize the awardee as a Global Women Peace Ambassador, based on the exemplary accomplishment in the area of leadership development. This is what I found maybe with Ms. Colis. Global Women Peace Ambassadors are peace leaders representing the religious, racial, and ethnic diversity of the human family and all disciplines of human endeavor. They stand on the common ground of shared values and are committed to the path of promoting reconciliation, overcoming barriers, and building peace. The signatories is Ms. Moriko Hori. She's the International President of Women Federation. It's active in 128 countries. Ms. Miti Toma, she's the President of OIME. This is Europe and Middle East region, 72 countries on the Landkarte, on the globe. And most of these countries, or many of these countries, have chapters. And myself as a representative from Austria. So this is for Ms. Myra Colis, and we will send it to you with email. A big applause for Ms. Myra Colis.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, but you're not the only one. Just let's give it another try. Yeah. And surprise, surprise, maybe I will not read the whole text again, but the same also for you, Dr. Anna Alvazzi del Frate. I hope you agree and you can accept this small gift or present.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Unexpected. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we will find a chance to give it to you in person.
Oh, that's great.
Because we will meet maybe tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for supporting also. Thank you. And following the call of Meli, who asked you to give some words, some presentation today. Thank you very much. Applause. But still, this is not all. Yeah, so we also have gentlemen with us. But Dr. Rogers Kasirye is really, really working for the women and for young women and older women and for youth. So Dr. Rogers Kasirye, we also really considered you one of our peace ambassadors for peace and development.
Thank
and
you.
Beautiful future.
Thank you very much.
Uganda. Thank you for being a faithful friend, because we've been working together to some extent the last 2-3 years, something like that. Yeah. Thank you very much, and really also appreciation of your work, which is amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope friends can see me now because I'm using my phone. My laptop refused to work. And yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So you come in June, beginning of June. We will
Yes.
to you.
Yes. Keep it. I'll look out for you.
Yes, we will look out for each other. Great.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Annette.
Yes, it's always a surprise. So the next one to come into our network, we want to embrace you, Dr. Deidre Anderson. We're so happy that especially our friend Irmgard, she really connected with you. This was only a few weeks ago, actually 1 month ago, at the Commission of Narcotic Drugs. And we're so happy to get to know you and your amazing work, really. Thank you for your presentation, and it's amazing what you're doing. So important, yeah. So you're also very welcome. And I think we will send it to you because we're not so sure when you will be here in Vienna again.
Okay, I look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And still, there is me. Yeah, I got it. Next one, another lady whom we know since a little bit, or maybe close to a year, Dr. Shima Naderi. Thank you very much for your presentation, and we are very happy to have you here in Vienna, and we always try to help you to build to get into a network where you can help your country, because your country is you're coming from a very troubled place. And so we hope we can give you hope and stick together, and you can find ways to move forward or to brighten up a little bit together with us. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you,
Informative.
I'm so surprised, and yeah, how can I say my feeling? Thank you so much. You're my best friend in these days that I had a catastrophe situation. Yeah, thank you so much.
You together with your husband, yeah, actually you're both lawyers. Just an information for Mrs. Anna, yeah.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
So we try to support you and help you to get into contact with with people that can maybe help the situation. Yeah, congratulations, Shima. We keep going
Thank
together.
You so much.
And one more. Now is Miss Grisel Sikat. She's still here from the embassy, from Philippine embassy.
She left.
I'm still here.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah, great. Miss Sikat.
Thank you. Thank you for this, Renate, and WFWP.
Thank you so much, because you're very, very faithful. I think you have 4 or 5 at least of our events you accompanied, and whenever we come to the embassy, you're always there, smiling and friendly. So thank you very much for your interest in this, or in these meetings, in these conferences, and also for your personal work, because you are working on a diplomatic level. So thank you very much for being here in Austria.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure meeting a lot of people through the WFWPI network. So thank you, Renate, and to the whole team.
Thank you so much. Congratulations for you. So from my side, this was my task, my pleasure today to pass on these documents. And now I give back to my dear colleague, Kyungin. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Renate, for presenting these Peace Ambassador Awards. Very well deserved by all of our speakers. Yes, we're going to make a picture now. So I actually want to give our colleague Lily the lead to guide us through making the picture. So could everyone, again, who did not do it yet, please open their cameras so we can make a beautiful picture.
In gallery, there's a few black spots, but I'll take it anyhow, and I hope the recording will show me the version without the black spots. That's how it was last time. So everybody smile into the camera, and we save. And now perhaps everybody would save. Yes, okay. 34. Yes, I've got everybody on the one screen. And if you'd like to wave. Thank you. All done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then we're going to round off our evening. I'm going to round off, and I would like to give the floor to our precious colleague, Mrs. Mary Sokila Blushke. She is the initiator of this amazing project, Meet and Greet, and also the Philippine Liaison Officer of the Women's Federation Austria. So, Mrs. Merli, thank you so much for organizing all of this. And please, could you offer some closing remarks?
My pleasure. Thank you, dear Kyungin, for giving me the floor. Good evening from Villach, a small but beautiful city and peaceful Corinthian city, about 20 kilometers away from the three-country border of Austria, Italy, and Slovenia. If you happen to be visiting this place, let us know so we can perhaps tour you around. It's surrounded by lakes and beautiful lakes. I am very delighted to see you all from around the world. Thank you for being with us here tonight and for your efforts and for taking the time. Thanks to all the amazing speakers and participants. It is very inspiring to listen to. Congratulations to all, and a special mention to the recipients of the Ambassadors of Peace Recognition Awards. I will not mention one by one your name because there will be a written report which I'm gonna send it to each of you via email with the video recording when it's ready, hopefully in a couple of days or a bit later, maybe, yeah. Shout out to our beloved technical and media expert, Lily Gondaker and Kyungin van Liven Oliveira for your expertise in guiding us through with the program as the moderator. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And of course, to Renati, Maria, and Irmgard, who are always very supportive and amazing mentors and leaders. Thank you also to our colleagues and friends from WFWP Spain for your valuable contributions. Shout out to IAYSP Youth Representative Laurenc Klas and also to Miss Charlene May Bornea of New York. We at WFWPI UN Vienna office, WFWP Austria have made so far 13 episodes of this meet and greet, and we did it again. Just to emphasize that this online platform is not only a platform for dialogue and exchange, but is also a platform of inspiration and learning from the sharing of experiences and best practices. So I encourage you to keep it up, and we will continue with this beautiful work. And we are hopeful somehow we could find a way to collaborate in some practical ways. Let's do it. Thank you and see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much, Meli, for your closing remarks. And with your words, we are gonna round off. Our apologies for going a little bit over time. And hopefully next time we can provide some question and answer space as well. And to close, we want to again thank you all for your presence, for your inspiration, and for connecting. I saw a lot of things going on the chat, so that's amazing. That's our aim, like we said. Please look forward for meet and greet number 14. We will announce it when the time is there. And we want to close with a big, big thank you from the heart, and accompanied by a beautiful piece of Mrs. Sally Pinkas, a pianist born and raised in Israel, with some beautiful piano work. Please enjoy and have a lovely evening. See you next time. And keep up the good work. Thank you all, and have a lovely evening. Keep up the good work. See you next time.
Bye. See you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
It was amazing.
Thank you, ladies. Keep up the good work. Bye, Merle.
My pleasure. Thank you.